seen it. You know what you're talking about, like this technology whereby, Nick, I'm really struggling. I need to see those pictures whereby a ball jumps, or when you kick a ball, there is that drawing that draws how a ball moves from one end to the other. No, I need Chapadimba illustrations, Nick, tafadhali. Those are statistics for some player I will be speaking about later on. I need Chapadimba illustrations. But they should be coming. Yes, that's what I needed. Thank you very much, Nick, for taking your time. So this is how, of course, the balls, this technology, you've seen it internationally, Celine, of course, in your, but we've not seen it in Kenya.
Yeah.
Chapadimba had it for these under 20 players. What do you know about it? This is something I'm sure Oja, you've not interacted with at Tusker yet. Yet, I've used the word yet.
I think they should bring it to the Premier League, Sasa. Since we have seen it here at Chapadimba, they should bring it to Premier League. But it's a good thing because you can see they're using illustrations, and that's a good thing. Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and of course, as you can see, it can give information or data about the speed of a player moving from one end to the other. It can showcase a player, as you can see here. This should be Naomi Masinde scoring that goal. That is one of the Barcelona FC players representing Central. Having scored, as you can see clearly, it can show you where the player is, this player at this particular moment. Then looking at Calta ahead of there, and that pass was such a sweet pass, such a sweet move, tells you the distance and the kilometers, the speed at which they're playing, and that was a goal. I was there, I watched this particular beautiful goal. And later on, of course, on this show as well, I'll be sharing an exclusive I had with the FKF president, Nick Mwendwa, about the selection of players. In fact, Nick Mwenda told me they've already selected some players who will be featuring for the under-18, the under-20, and of course those other structures that we have in the Kenyan football. Celine, I'm sure you missed. Celine, you missed in Kisumu.
I really missed, but it's okay. It's okay. Season 5 tutakuwa bumper to bumper. As it starts, we are there. But honestly, I think I missed the last, that was the biggest.
Yes.
I missed it, but honestly, seeing teams go even to the finals, that was a good one. Even I was worried when I saw Plateau Queens beat Barcelona ladies. Yes. I almost cried because that was the only team that was representing Central. Yeah.
But Barcelona Queens with their coach Emma Nwafula, it's such a solid team. It's just that I don't know what happened in the final. I was actually rooting for them to win. But Plateau Queens had the better hand, of course, and had the 12th man in the stands. 20,000 plus fans were fully in this particular stadium, Celine. I don't think any Premier League has reached besides Gor Mahia and FC.
Yeah.
Those are, of course, those are some of the technologies. I'll be bringing, those individuals who are behind this technology of showing this. I managed to talk to them. They work for IMG Kenya. They were doing this together with that Catapult GPS vests. I'm sure you've seen them as well. I'll be able, of course, to bring them over here because they're also looking at bringing this technology into the Kenyan Premier League. And Nick Mwendwa, in the interview, of course, that I'll be sharing later on, say that indeed they will be able to incorporate it into the local league somewhere, because now it can be played in the under-20s. Why not in our league? And of course, the CEO, if you heard the CEO said it clearly, where the Safaricom CEO, that this tournament, they'll be sponsoring it for the next 10 years. That's information you don't have anywhere else, only here on Sports Extravaganza. Now, moving on to, there was this game between Brenda Girls and Plateau Queens. It should be the semi-final in the girls category in the national final, Chapadimba in Mamboleo. And there were statistics that we were able to get or gather from the equipment that were being deployed at this particular tournament. So Brenda versus Nyakach data, we should be able to see that data right now. And it gave data of the number of kilometers, as you can see here. It gives a complete. This was the semi-final one in the girls category. You can see the average speed. These are things we just see in the English Premier League, Celine. The distance covered by those all players 11 in the whole 90 minutes, and the total distance as well, and the sprint distance. This is in Chapadimba, Celine. I'm sure this is I'm sure our league is, we should be very embarrassed that this can only happen in community football and not in a top league.
Yeah, I'm really wondering because, I don't know, should we tell Safaricom to sponsor Kenya Premier League so that we can be seeing such things? But this is good statistics because if you look, this is a whole team. You know, there are others that collect for a single player and you see how the player performed this game, the other game. I think these are good statistics that we need. Even as people who do analysis, these are the statistics we need, Manze. We look for them, you cannot find. You go to Google, you're Googling, there is nothing. I think this is a good thing.
And of course, talking about statistics, there's this player, Maureen Atieno. Maureen Atieno, one of the players in the Chapadimba, we'll be able to see the statistics or the data that was able to gather from these particular instruments that were on players. Players were actually having this equipment on themselves. So this is Maureen, and you can actually see, it might not be very clear, but it gives you where the player is being played, the total distance, top speed, the number of passes, what he did. And these are statistics you're saying we need. And in the Premier League, you will not find them anywhere.
Yeah.
And you see the heat map. You can see that there's that heat map over there. Shows you where this player was, the number of passes, how these passes were being made. All in Chapadimba. Football, again, in Kenya, we need to style up.
I think we should give Safaricom the biggest shout out. Because this is awesome. I think,
these are things you only see when you're watching, like you see, for example, when you're seeing Chelsea beating Man City today. These are things we're seeing during halftime analysis. In Kenyan football, we don't see these things. Yeah,
we don't see them. And that's why you find like you're arguing with someone, telling them, this player is better than this. But you cannot pull out the stats. Yeah, you cannot. So, I don't know.
This is just for Maureen. Let's bring in the statistics for Naomi Masinde. Naomi Masinde, I was also able to have a conversation with her during, Chapadimba. This should be one of the players. As you can see clearly, now you can compare the two, the Naomi Masinde statistics and then, of course, Maureen Atieno statistics and see which player. And these were given to every coach. Every coach had these statistics. And those scouting coaches, also the likes of Nick Yahama, who were in this tournament, also had these statistics. So it's easier to really know who can make it into the national team, Celine.
Yeah, it's really easier because if you look at that, it's like a tiny map there.
Yes.
You're seeing how the player is active in the pitch, the way her movement. Yeah, it's a good thing. I think this, I'm speechless. Safaricom, you've outdone yourself.
And these are things, of course, not many people are aware of. And of course, seeing the president himself, there was a President Nick Mwendwa at Mamboleo Stadium. The CEO of FKF was also there, and also other FKF officials, top officials. And I'm smelling coffee here. I'm smelling something about FKF delegating the responsibility of tech in the Premier League to Safaricom.
Right. Actually, I will campaign for that. As an individual, we need those. You know, people. You see that we saw the other day Harambee Stars go play in. It was where?
In Malawi.
In Malawi, yeah. And we saw people complaining about the player selection. Imagine you have such statistics and you come, you tell, or for example, the people who do selection, of course, Firat must be there.
Yes.
And then you maybe I'm part of the people who select the squad. I'll come with my stats, another will come with their stats, and we'll get the perfect fit for the people keep complaining should be in the team, should be in the team. You know, people are saying Omala should be in the team time and time again, but the little statistics that I've gathered, because I don't have such to gather more, yes. I think for me, he lacks something. And you see, if you look at Omala and Olunga is a more clinical finisher. And that's why I'm saying these things, maybe I'll campaign, come to Premier League. Because you cannot be arguing with someone, you're telling them Omala is not supposed to be in the first team of the Harambee Stars, and then someone is telling you he's better than Olunga. Please bring this thing to FKF Premier League.
It will be coming, of course. I remember also Barry, the CEO of FKF, mentioned something about they tried the catapult vests during the Four Nations tournament. I don't know how true that was, so they could actually get statistics of how player move. Forgive me, these are the kind of statistics Coach Harambee Stars coach Engin Firat needs to employ in the team. And Engin Firat coach and your team, now you know where you need to get these statistics, or you know this kind of information. Remember, if you're joining us, this is Sports Extravaganza. I know I'll be asked to go for a short break in the next 2 minutes. However, if you're joining us, we have a question of the day. Nick, we have a question of the day, and we're asking you a very simple question. And I have airtime. Besides airtime, I have footballs to give you, courtesy of the Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament and the European Union delegation to Kenya. I have this airtime. I want to give away 500 to 5 people on this show. Last time we gave out to my good friend who refused to take up their phone call. I was sending you money, ukakataa kuchukua. Another friend of ours, we gave them airtime. Alipata airtime yake. Today, 5 of you, 5 are winning. We're asking you this very simple question. Where next is the Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament being held? Where will the next leg of the Kenya, is it Kilifi? Is it Nairobi? Where will it be held? Is it in Laikipia? Where will the third round of the Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament be held? Send on WhatsApp. You can call us. You can X us. You can Insta us. Remember how you start with the name Sports Extravaganza. Tell us your name, where you're watching this show from. Give me an answer and the reason why you want to win 500 Kenya shillings worth of airtime. After this very short break, together, of course, with Celine Waithira, who is a top football analyst in the country, I have an exclusive interview with the FKF president, Nick Mwendwa, concerning the technology you're talking about. I also held an exclusive interview with the governor of Kisumu, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. So today is an exclusive day on Extravaganza, and it's of course in relation to football and how football is growing and the technology that we need to impact on this. And also I'll be sharing some of the pictures behind the scenes, the sights and sounds of our technical team, our sound team, the people who are on the ground in Kisumu to bring you the very best of the Safaricom Chapadimba after this very short break.
Welcome back. This is Sports Extravaganza. We are live every
Saturday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. It is a rainy evening here in Nairobi. Of course, I'm not alone in studio. I'm with Celine Waithira, one of Kenya's top football analysts, pundit, and super fan of Tusker FC, who will be playing. That game again, Ulinzi, I think has been postponed. Are you still playing against Ulinzi? Because I think Tusker, you're playing up. Was it tomorrow? Tomorrow
at the complex.
Yes, there will be that 1 minute of silence. I think that's what they decided instead of cancelling those football matches that are set out for this weekend. Now, what I promised you earlier on that exclusive interview that I had with the Football Kenya Federation president, Mr. Nick Mwendwa. And Nick Mwendwa had certain revelations about certain players who had already been selected from Safaricom Chapadimba National Finals to join the under-20s, the under-18s of our national teams. Let's listen in to the president.
Football, sometime in 2016, I went to Safaricom and we agreed to embark on developing. They were not interested at the high end of things. They wanted to continue developing. And 8 years later, 6 editions down the line, you can see today what's happening. 20,000 people in a community final. This is basically a community final. Sio kitu ya kawaida, it doesn't happen. The activation is super. The people are excited. You know, they've been here since morning. They're not going anywhere for the final. And this is what we need to continue doing for many, many, many years to come. And Safaricom have proven that, you know, it can be done because they're doing it. So our partnership is enduring. It's great for any child who wants to go somewhere and do something in the game. We have seen big names come through this tournament. And I'm looking forward to the final because I think in the girls, I've seen 2 or 3 who will make in our team. Maybe the coach agrees with me. And I think today I will see another couple who will make in the under-20 or under-17. And that is the big job. The big job is developing new talent. It's never automatic. It's a generation of new players that you create from the grassroots, from Turkana, from Garissa, from Kilifi. And Safaricom are doing it.
Your coaches, national team coaches, a chance to select. They are spoiled for choice. I spoke to Nicky Ahama here. He said they're spoiled for choice in those top players, the best, everything, and all that. What impact has it had in your national team?
Chapadimba always produces at least 1 star. Every edition, 1 top star. If you remember Magak, if you remember Omala, it produces 1 big star that goes on immediately to be signed up. I'm asking myself, who is it this year? But you know, what is important is that the child who doesn't have, I was talking to the governor today, and these kids from Obunga, they go play the whole day because there's no food at home. Now at Chapadimba, they get some kits, you know, they play for something, they get some food, they come and become champions, and they can go to Spain. What more can you ask for if you are young and you have an ambition to be big and do something? They always evolve like that. And that's why we like it. It's a festival as well. If you come here, there's music, the branding is top, you know, and there's many things going on, which is what Safaricom know how to do that we don't know how to do. So I think the execution and the partnership meets at a point, which is almost an inflection point for me because we know the football. They know how to talk to the people and create a festival around it. And Chapadimba, for our young kids, is an example for the future.
We are hosting the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. This is a tournament definitely that is gearing up towards that. It's related to that. What impact will it have?
AFCON would be great if we had 2-3 players coming from here. Maybe today we produce one that goes on to become a star in 27. But even if not, the ecosystem that's being built around Chapadimba, every year, the key is consistency. No one does it every year. Only Safaricom wants to do it every year. And Peter has told me they want to do it every year for the next 10 years.
And of course,
and make it bigger, because that consistency is what produces. If you're not consistent, if you don't do it again and again, it's a waste of time. Doing it once and stopping doesn't yield nothing. And I think they understand that. And I think we do understand that. That's why we do it consistently every year at the federation level. That's why we have all our scouts here. That's why we have our national team coaches here. Because we are serious about development of the young kids. In 10 years, in 20 years, when you're not here, that's when the results will come.
the coaches are also, I understand also, coaches are being trained in this particular forum. Coaches, besides being trained, are being given jobs also to work in that kind of selection. How beneficial?
Coaches, trainings, referees, trainings, other people that are officers around the game, production and this kind of thing. This is a training ground if you want to be big. I have seen journalists like you who became commentators from editions of Chapadimba before. So it's the entire ecosystem of the game. There are people here selling drinks, selling soda, selling everything. These people are going home, so they need food. And people have come. So it's an entire economic ecosystem that we activate with this Chapadimba. I'm so pleased and thankful about it. I think next year we go Ahochnaya, and I think in the next couple of years, we make it even bigger than it is today, so that we have more participation, so we have expansion to be bigger as a nation from bottom up.
Indeed. And of course, the facilities, the infrastructures that we have when Chapadimba goes, it definitely puts a lot of, how should I call it, asks the county government to bring up such facilities.
Yeah, today I had a conversation with the governor about upgrading this stadium. Because the funds are there, but to have a better experience, you need a better stadium. And that investment is huge. You're talking a $50 million investment to have an A-class stadium. We are not there. Kasarani is being done. Jamhuri is being done. But we need that in the regions as well. So are we going to be able to do it? But I'm positive that in 5 years from today, we'll have several venues where this kind of competition can go to. Today, there are not many. But I think in 5 years, we have a couple of them that will be ready. And then we're going to be able to use them and have clubs play there. And then that's how it goes.
And of course, I was speaking to the CEO, Peter Ndegwa, about how big this thing will be next season. How much involved will you be as Football Kenya Federation with Safaricom?
The football is
in the next 5 years, the next 10 years?
The football is ours. The organization on the football side is what we do. Like I told you, it's an inflection point. They activate, they talk to the people, they communicate their branch, the importance of the tournament. We organize the football, we pick the talent, and we take the talent to the highest level. That's what we do. That's what we know how to do. And I think that it can't be done without either. It's a marriage that everybody has, their place and know how to do in their area. And I think that no one knows how to communicate to the people than they do. No one knows the football than we do. And I think it's really a super marriage.
And of course, there is this equipment, the catapult GPS vests that the players have been wearing from the regions. And yesterday I was speaking to Velma Award, who is one of the players who has been wearing these vests. And they're very excited about the kind of data that they get from those vests. The coaches are very excited about how they're approaching their coaching those kind of vests. Going forward,
Tech is part of the game now. You should see what the national team coach does with tech, knowing how many minutes, where you passed, how you ran, your heart, how long can you endure. They begin to know that at this age, during our time, this was, you know what it is. So I think that if you invest early enough, then the result will come. What we are doing now, giving it the time and the investment when they are young, and then we watch them grow, and I think part of it is tech, and that's what's happening.
I've seen you've trained. I was looking last time, about 2 weeks ago, the FKF in Langata and Nairobi West were training coaches, young, the players who are currently playing or who are finishing. Yes, so that, and I remember they were mentioning that they're training these coaches so that now they can take up responsibilities like these ones, because we don't have so many coaches do that.
You can't have a school without a teacher. You can't have kids in school without a teacher. So you have to develop the teachers give them the knowledge, and then their kids can learn. And that's what we are doing. We have trained 8,000 coaches across the country. 8,000. CAF D, CAF C, CAF B, and now for the first time, CAF A. 2 classes, 100 coaches for the top level. And I think that, you know, if we can do this consistently over many years, then you go somewhere. If you cut it, if you stop it, if you don't continue, then there's no point because you get wasted. That's what Chapadimba is about.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you very much, President, Football Kenya Federation, Nick Mwenda, for making time on our show.
Nick, why are you cutting? Nick, why are you cutting your fellow Nick? This is Sports Extravaganza live. Celine, you've heard so many things from the president of FKF. He mentioned, of course, in the minutes of it, that there are several players that he is forwarding to the national coaches in the girls and in the boys that are coming from Safaricom Chapadimba. I challenged him on the technology in the Chapadimba. That's, of course, those telestrations, those datas that, of course, we have been getting over there. And you've heard his response. Would it satisfy you?
I think I'll buy it for now. you know, this is Nick Mwendwa. I'll just buy it for now, but I really hope he puts what he said into action, because we really need to see action. Like I've heard him say that we should invest things early.
Yes.
And this is my question. You could have invested in it first term. See, uko second term manze, acha nisi, nitakujua hapo.
Nick is rafiki yangu. My president is my very good friend, and he of course, he agreed to my interview. I've never interviewed Nick Mwenda in my sporting career, in my 15 years of being in sports. So that was something I najivunia.
You should do behind the scene for us, because I'm wondering how you managed to convince him
in fact,
to do the interview.
In fact, talking about scenes, Nick, tafadhali tupatie, I have something about this Chapadimba sights and sounds. Nick, you have sights and sounds. Chapadimbas, please put them on air so that my good friend Celine can see how we managed to convince my very good friend Nick, President FKF, Nick Mwenda, to see. This, of course, was the team, Celine, the entire team, Cape Media, Radio 47, TV 47. Arocho lost his phone worth over 200,000 Kenya shillings. But he got a new one. This is a Safaricom team. I think this is a PR team. Now take a look at, this is a behind the scenes. I can see Chalo, Mwas, Kevo, this is Jijo. This was our makeshift studio at that particular place. We had several interviews. You can see those are our consoles, our whatever, Ojijo, George, our mkubwa wa makamera zetu. This is Chalo, if I'm not Chalo, if I'm not wrong. Kevo. No, sumwenye yako hapo wote ni Kevo, right? No. Oh, they're all Kevos. Everything, the sights and sounds of Chapadimba, behind the scenes, the things that we go through to manage. This is the interview I had with the Safaricom CEO. Such a humble guy. Actually honored to come for this interview amongst his busy. Now your Nick Mwendo is there. Play the natural sound kidogo. Tusikate. Nick, tupatie your natural sound. Imepita.
Nakusikia nipe countdown.
Kisumu County. Kabisa hii ni upendo. Tuko sasa niko kona. Tena madifenda stengi uchuka. Nikikuire ya timu. Haya, cheza kwa uzuri kabisa lakini bado ngoja tu. Tuko na mini chaki.
machampioni. Aduma anapoteza penalti hapa. Obunga ndio machampioni wa Safaricom Chapa Dimba awamu ya 4 kutoka Kisumu Dala. Papa Fred Arocho, nilikueleza kwamba huyo Dek William alijifunga, lakini wakati wa penalti atalitakasa jina. Angalia, kila mtu anasherekea naye, anamfuata huko aliko Dek William.
Naam, ni ushindi mkubwa sana kwa Obunga baada ya hiyo penalti, na kongole vile vile kwa wana Langas kwa juhudi na jitihada ambazo wameonyesha katika fainali hii. Imekuwa safari ndefu baada ya kupata ushindi dhidi ya Bandari Youth katika nusu fainali hiyo jana, na hii leo basi safari yao inatimia tamati, na basi Obunga ni mabingwa wa michuano hii awamu yake ya 4 kombe hili la Safaricom Chapa Dimba.
Mashabiki wanaingia uwanjani, wananikumbusha Man City ilipotoa EPL dakika ya mwisho wao wakicheza dhidi ya QPR. Balotelli wakifanya kazi zao wakati huo, Roberto Mancini wakati huo. Obunga ndio mabingwa. Inabidi stewards kuingilia kati kuwalinda wachezaji, lakini Arocho, nilikuwa nakwambia hii ni filamu written in heaven. Odek William kujifunga, alafu penalti, anapangua penalti 2, anakuwa man of the match, miongoni mwa magolkipa bora. Tunasubiri kujua nani atakuwa golkipa bora wa mashindano haya, mfungaji bora, mchezaji bora, timu yenye nidhamu, timu itakayokwenda kule Hispania. Lakini Obunga wametoa taji la wavulana, Nyakati wametoa taji la kinadada. Jiji la Kisumu alikaliki, ni mbwembwe, hanjam, mbingu ya 7.
Na ni kweli wamedhibitisha kwamba eneo la Nyanza ama kwa hakika ni mabingwa wa kandanda hapa nchini Kenya, na kama ulivyosema Nyakach ama ukipenda unasema Plateau Queens, baada ya kuweza kulitoa taji upande wa wanadada, sasa wanaume kutoka eneo la Nyanza vile vile wanatua kombe hili kupitia kikosi hichi cha Obunga. Inaonyesha tu kwamba kandanda, mimi husema hivi, ukiuliza swali kandanda hapa Kenya iko wapi, lazima utapata jibu, aidha iko maeneo ya magharibi ama maeneo haya Nyanza. Lakini yote 9-10, kwanza kongole kwa waandalizi wa michuano hii kwa kuweza kuandaa michuano ya aina yake, na vile vile wadhamini wa michuano hii Safaricom kwa kazi nzuri ambayo wamefanya. Na wote tu kwa jumla, utulivu, mashabiki na wote tu ambao wamefika hapa kuhakikisha kwamba hii leo imekuwa siku hii ya furaha.
Arosho cha ziada, manake naarifiwa kwamba tumalize matangazo, sherehe zitaendelea upande wa digital. Sherehe
that's the sound or the voice of Ali Kauleni and Fred Arocho, who are our top maestros in sports for Radio 47, because it was the entire Cape Media team that covered the Safaricom Chapa Dimba National Finals at the Mamboleo Stadium in Kisumu County. Personally, I was there. And Celine, you've seen for yourself. You've seen the sea of humanity.
I've seen what I've missed. And this should be a warning to me. I should not miss. But your last part of the fans getting into the field, I think that is too much chaos, because but I understand it's the joy of winning. Yeah, it is necessary chaos. It's the joy of winning. But kudos to the winners, Nyakach and Obunga.
Those are the home teams. Both of them are from Nyanza region.
Yeah, I think this Nyanza this, Nyanza that. I think Central, we should pull out our socks. Si kulima peke. We should shine even in the pitch. But that was good. That was a very well organized tournament from the beginning. We have seen people even benefiting from it outside the pitch. That was a good tournament. And I'm expecting season 5, and I've said I'm not missing. I'm not missing.
Don't you dare. Safaricom are in this for the next 10 years, according to Safaricom CEO and also Nick Mwendwa, president of FKF. They've said they'll be in it for the next 10 years. So we have more seasons to come in the Safaricom Chapa Dimba and technology. And you never know, the Kenya Premier League might just be named. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be quoted anywhere. However, just before we take a break, my director, Nick, has told me that he has that exclusive. I had that 1 minute and a half exclusive interview. I know I'll be going for that. Yeah, they'll be coming up. But Nick prepared that exclusive with the Kisumu governor. It should be ready. However, if you're joining us, we have a question of the day and we want to give you airtime. We're asking you a very simple question. The Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament next heads to which county? These counties are the coast. I've given you a clue. Of course, the numbers will be scrolling below your screen. You can send us on @TV47 News, TV47 TV News on across all media platforms, @Kwalanda on X, @Kwalanda Tony on Instagram, and across, of course, other social media platforms for TV47 and Radio 47. Celine, what is your X handle?
Waithira Gathiga, X, Facebook, Celine Gathiga, Instagram, Celine Waithira.
Cheza kwa DM. And of course, some of your feedback coming through here. Hello, Tony. I'm Obaga from Umoja 3. The question of the day, the answer is Taita Taveta. Hey, bwana. Hey. Then my good friend, I don't know, called Doso, anasema Kakamega County. Okay, I know what you're trying to do. I know you are trying to tell the European Union to send the tournament there. Sports Extravaganza watching from Ruaka, Thomas Amisi here. Euro tournament is the Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament. Will be held in Marsabit County. Yes, Christo. My name is John Kariuki, watching from Dagoretti South, Waithaka. The answer is Kilifi County. John Kariuki, thank you very much for sharing that. The next tournament will be played in Kilifi County, Dan, Nairobi. That's a great program. Thank you so much for watching. We always have great stuff here. Every Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. It will be held in Nairobi County in May. Huyu ajasema, I think she says she's called Immaculate. Hi TV47 Europe Day Football, but couldn't understand. Umona swali. What don't you understand? There's another one here, Kilifi County. Michael anasema kwamba it will be held in Malindi, Kilifi County. Asante sana for sharing that. It will be in Malindi. This is Elvis. Thank you so much for sharing that. This, of course, is Sports Extravaganza. Tony Kolanda here. I'm together with Celine Waithira. Now, let's just take a look at It's My Day to Shine. I have that exclusive. No, I wanted to play the exclusive. It's 1 minute. Nick, give us the exclusive of my good friend, Governor for Kisumu. Yeah. Okay. I'm exclusive with my Kisumu governor. Hey, I don't know who this is. Anasema, for today's question of the day, Kilifi County is hosting the next Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament. Bridget, asante sana. Pass my greetings to your family. That's our loyal viewer. We appreciate you. Huyu jamaa anasema kwamba I'm watching from Koibatek. Thank you very much. Koibatek is represented here. Huyu mwingine anasema kwamba watching from Nairobi. My name Amandika ni Monica. Amesema ni Monica, thank you. But that's not the answer, but thank you for sharing your feedback. Mwingine Abdallah Mwongela, thank you so much also for watching the show. Ujapatia jibu. But we're just asking you when or which county will host the next Kenya Europe Day Kenya Football Tournament. Nick, umekataa kunipatia nini yangu ya governor. We are taking a short break. I'll be coming back with the governor and also an exclusive with Nick Yahama, who is a top coach in the country and also for Chapadimba, and also the CEO of FKF, Barry Otieno, and had certain revelations which you need to hear after this break. alisema alikuwa na piga shughuli kali sana mahali fulani, but Dantos, thank you for Joseph was supposed to be here for baby akukua. Now, if you're joining us, we're asking you a very simple question. Where will the Europe Day Kenya football tournament next be held? Which county will it be held? And it's in the coast. Now, we have about 4 winners. 0724-967 is the last number. 0728-212, that is of course 500, unaenda kupata. 0725-518 is the last number, 500 ni yako. 0799-197 is of course, and we are looking for the last winner of the 500 Kenya shillings. I told you here, you watch, win, learn, and get entertained. Celine, just before we go, your prediction, Chelsea versus Man City, FA Cup, inafanyika leo saa 1.
I think Man City, this is the only cup they're winning because they're not winning Premier League. As a Liverpool fan, I think we'll win it, being the Lulu. But I think it's going to be a tough game. Maybe it's going to end in a draw. Or Man City to beat Chelsea. Because I've seen Chelsea give City a hard time. First leg, second leg.
Thank you.
I know they meet in the FA semi-finals. It's unpredictable, honestly.
Let me just give you patia Chelsea kichwa. Hiyo mambo tumalize.
Ashasema.
Alafu kesho, of course, Man U is playing against Coventry, the second semi-final. I know many people will give Man U, but Coventry, from what they did to the quarterfinals, they are a very unpredictable team with the way Man U are playing.
Hata nikwe nimepoa nini, I'm not giving Man U a heads up. They're the one who sent us home with the last minute goal, Ahmad Diallo, sijasahau. So I'm giving Coventry a heads up. Yeah, they're going to win tomorrow. Even
me, I want Coventry to beat Man U so that Chelsea can meet Coventry in the final of the FA Cup. Any questions? This is Sports Extravaganza. But of course, Celine, thank you very much. Any highlights that you're looking forward to? There's this Cape Kenya Classic that, of course, we shall be giving results later on in this. Some of the top athletes who are here. Mashemeji Derby is tomorrow.
I was to talk about Mashemeji Derby, but tomorrow Tusker we are playing. I know we have lost 3 games in a row, but we are yet to redeem ourselves tomorrow. So tomorrow will be at Ulinzi Complex. Yeah, we're playing Ulinzi Stars, and yeah, that's it. And you people, you should come out in large numbers. Tomorrow we have the 95th Derby, Mashemeji Derby. Manze mtoke, watu wa Ingwe kama kwa Landa na watu wa Gor Mahia. Tomorrow mpige kambi Nyayo.
Hata nikitoka tu kwa hii show, I'm going to have nyama choma mahali nikienda Nyayo. I am sleeping at Nyayo. I'll be the first one at the gate for our Mashemeji Derby.
Watu wafike mapema. Pale pana kuanga na chaos.
You will not find a seat. That you can be sure. Wamuta iwachia kwa TV.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how our weekend looks like. A lot of sporting activities, but also, of course, having lost to the families and friends of the late Chief of the Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola. Pole sana to the family. Of course, we are in mourning. Poleni sana to those who have been affected. Personally, as of course, as a journalist, having interacted with the General, yes, we are affected. Marceline pia wewe, message of condolence to the family.
May he rest in peace and the family to stay strong. Yeah.
Sawa. Of course, thank you very much for watching. But just before we wind up the show, I managed to speak to one Nick Yahama. That's, of course, one of our top coaches in the country who currently is stationed with the Safaricom Chapadimba tournament as one of the coaches that selects like the most valuable player, the top player in goalkeeping. Also, how do you call it? I'm forgetting this other valuable. Those in Chapadimba, they're the ones who do the selection and also feed the national teams with some of the top players who are from the grassroots into that. I also managed to speak to the CEO of FKF, my good friend Barry Otieno, and certain things, of course, he shared from the football that you might want to listen to or actually get to know. The things we will not find anywhere else. And also spoke to the coach of Pask Langa, who were beaten in the final of the boys category, and also one of the players. This, of course, what they shared during the Safaricom Chapadimba.
This goes down as the best ever Chapadimba tournament. The aim, of course, in partnership with Safaricom is to make it even more greater next year. And as I said earlier in our discussion is that, of course, we understand that teams have got objectives which they set out in the beginning of the tournament, but the federation's objective is to provide or create a pool of players who then can be scouted into our junior national teams and in the maybe top league, so that clubs can also come and pick players. I think Omala is one example of what Chapadimba can do. And we've seen that over the years, this being the 4th edition, what we've done with Safaricom is that we've been able to bring in players from the grassroots level and then represent the country or play for top clubs in the country. And we are happy that we've been hosted by the Kisumu County. We are happy with the partnership. Hopefully next year we even make it much bigger.
Hata the players wale ambao tayari nimepata hapa, mwalimu huenda kila mahali wana communicate na niwaambia sio players ndio, so at least data ako nayo. Hata hii after hapa pia namtafuta mali nyuma ya tent mwambie sio data ndio, so mko na communicate naye sana. So ukimweza kwamba imagine umetuleta mimi na sio hapa na Pascalanga, kumaanisha kwamba kuna kitu ambayo ilikuwa inataka mahali ambapo ulikuwa hujui. So kuna kitu na sio iko juu, what na communicate sana. Coach pale ndio nilikutana naye Eldoret kwa Talanta Hela, niliongea naye sana. Kuna msichana ambaye akusaidia under 18 huyo ule anavanga hijab.
Yes.
Ule kutoka Mias. Fadhili mchagua nikamwambia minister kafu tu in face waziri huyu ndio ataenda mbali. Na tunaona saizi yako mbali. So kuna plaza mbali chagua siku hiyo wakusaidia kwa national team under 18 ya wasichana. National team under 18 pia nachezaji pia wangu 7 mbali chagua kwa Talanta Hela. So I'm so happy na hapa pia kuna place nimechagua takana sio mali Jumatend pia tuwa hiyo under 18 ambaye ameenda juzi ni Malawi, pia wajumuishwa hapo ndani. Otherwise, thanks so much. Shukuru sana Confederation kwa support Chapadimba. Sabila wao Chapadimba zifanyika na kwa bado CEO keep it up. Tuko pamoja, tushirikiana pamoja, tuinue vipaji juu. Players wetu wacheza upro wengi. The more we professionals, the more kufika World Cup na AFCON inakuwa rahisi.
I'm so excited. Ilikuwa ni mara yangu ya kwanza kumuona. At least naona live tumekaa naye mara ya kwanza kabisa. Na kama si hii Chapadimba, maybe hatungaipatana. Na maybe singaionekana tena. But now nimepata hiyo opportunity. So I'm hoping nitakuwa hapo kwa hiyo kikosi ya AFCON.
Sema kitu moja nyume benefit ya FKF. Asikie poa. Asitoke tu hapa tu sio aseme anaongeanga mbaya. Mwambie kitu poa nyume enjoy yenye kama FKF amefanya hapa mashinani. Yako hapa. Jitetee. Ndio akumbuke sura yako na sauti yako.
Naam. Okay. Mimi kitu nimefanya nimeenjoy. Kitu ya kwanza tumeonekana sisi kama wachezaji. Unaona pali kama hapa hivi kuna seniors coaches wa national, so wanatuona na tukiweka bidii hapo kwa uwanja, one of us ama most of us wataonekana na watapata ile opportunity ya kujoin national team. Yeah.
I'm happy. So I'm a train CAF. I started CAF D. I expect to be given opportunity to proceed. I did well. I was number 2 in my class, but I've never got an opportunity to do C. I want to appreciate FKF. Football has grown. Football has indeed grown. We have teams, even in Eldoret. People think sisi ni watu wa kukimbia. Pale kuna mpira. Na sio kuna ujumbe nilituma pale tukiwa Nakuru. Najua iko kufikia. Na Mungu naye ni nani? Mimi husema Mungu ni DJ. Anajua kuweka muziki pale inatakikana. Leo umepatikana hapa. Mulifika pale Trans Nzoia mkapeana shule 2 Center of Excellence. Mulituruka tu hapa Rift. Tunashukuru, tunaomba na ECBC tuna transit next class. Mimi ni mwalimu pale Mwiruti Secondary. I've been going to regionals every now and then. Naomba mfungue Center of Excellence pale. Msupply pia hizo activity hizo equipments. You will see an improvement also in that area. That's the message we are bringing strong as Eldoret, as the people of Rift. Sisi si watu wakimbia. Unajua watu wanaamini mpira uchezwa Trans Nzoia and Rift Valley. Inaweza chezwa Eldoret. We have teams in Div 1, we have team Kochini. I would also like to appreciate someone. I have 2 individuals who have supported this team tangu tutoke Nakuru. That's Mheshimiwa Muya, our MCA. He has supported this team. Anytime we want to go for friendly tournament, he support. And one great guy, anaitwa Mkarabati, Honorable Oscar Sudi. Yes. Ukimwona hivyo anapenda mpira. He's our patron, by the way. And he said he might likely come in tomorrow. kushabiki timu yake. Those two leaders have been of great help. I just want to wish you well, CEO, and everyone in the federation. I know we are going to transition. May God's will be done. Kazi inaonekana.
We believe we've done well, but I don't sit here today and say that you're perfect. When you're a human being, there is normally room for improvement. We take every feedback positively, but I'm also happy that coach is, if you could call it, prove that we've actually tried to train coaches. And if we have a CAF D coach who brings a team to the final, and we had coaches that had maybe higher, if you could like, credentials, and tomorrow he plays in the final, then for sure you realize that we might not be a lot of things, but we are fair. And the objective of the federation is to ensure that youth football, youth and women football, takes the center stage. We believe that probably maybe we go to the World Cup with the ladies before we do men, because the gap between our ladies and ladies at a global level is quite small. Men, we lost time. I'm not saying we don't have talent, we lost time. And also success is holistic. So we need still to work on the infrastructure. We need to work on the commercialization aspect of our football. We need to work on fan strategy and club strategies. And I'm happy that now through club licensing, maybe he is picked by a leading club and plays for them in the foreseeable future. And God willing, in 2027, when we are hosting AFCON, we have a few players, and I mentioned Omala being a good example, who then wears a Kenyan jersey, takes to the field, and we can say that we discussed him here some years back. True. That is our joy.
Ile vest ukivaa, you feel as in kama unacheza kaa venye unaonanga watu wakicheza majuu. Yes. Tunaonanga kwa TV. Sa ni real. You feel you are somewhere that is good. Na unakuwa comfortable. So na pia inakusaidia. Unajua venye mna run kama kwa team. Like venye tulikuwa regionals. So tulijua nani anakimbia sana kwa timu yetu na anakimbia kwa muda gani. At least you know inakuleta ile psych. Ukicheza ball unajua niko na kitu na ni important. Yeah, kitu naoneanga kwa TV.
Baada kila tournament, baada kila game kama sasa hivi huwa naenda kuchekea majamaa wa hizo mavitu hizo. Jamaa wa hizo ma broadcasting na TV kila siku tunakaa nao tunaangalia. Okay, sometimes wana information fulani wanga pale sijapata poa na pale naongea nao niambia wananifungulia hivi unamfungo hivi na watch vile kuko, then I okay hapa ile kwa hivi na hivi. Pia mimi pia nimelearn some few things hapo, but ni kitu ningeenda kometua okay these teams kando na bandari ni timu ya kampuni. Timu kama Pascalanga na timu kama Obunga tayari muongea na makocha kwa some players ambao hafai kuwa hapo next year. So ni kwamba tu coach next year pengine ajipange na watu wengine aende mashinani watu wengine walete players ambao sasa atisa mcheza hizo tournament mara 2-3 awaachilie wafanye nini waenda hapo juu ndio bring wengine. Because they are doing a very good job. Na kuna some players tayari wale ambao tumeona na so sema lakini tunapata tumeona tisi tutakatwezi tuwapush kwa hizo matimu za NSL Premier League so that tumpatie pia job nyingine afanye nini kwenda pale chini hatuwezi kuwa hapo sisi wote. Lazima kuwe na mtu wa kutoa watu hiyo pale chini kuwaleta hapa sisi tuwaone tupush pale mbele, CEO ataonea pale juu unaona, sababu CEO pia izaenda pale chini. So at least jamaa anafanya job poa sana, na nikuambia tu nimesema tu waachilie watu wengine waishie watafute wengine, sababu hapa chini kuna lot of talent ni noma sana. Na nafikiri sasa hii Safaricom Chapadimba inapatia CEO na president na FKF at least an easier time ya kujua maplayers mali wako. So this is tunaona. That is pia inakuwa ni poa sana in build up national team under 17 and 18 and 20. So in the next some few years to come tukatu bado na federation hii yetu ambayo ni kushuba tutakuwa nayo ni kushow World Cup tutafika vile president anataka.
Yeah, Tony, I think as mentioned, the objective is to provide a clear pathway. Yes. Pathway for a player born in Obunga to play for Obunga FC, but also to play probably for Gor Mahia and find himself at the national team level and maybe even abroad. Yes. And Chapadimba provides one of these platforms. As you've mentioned, more than 3,000 players taking part since inception. Big for us, but there is also the reality of football. There is only one Messi and one Ronaldo out of millions. We hope that we create a pool that goes on to represent the country at international level, but also gets a chance to play abroad. But we are also aware that sometimes this is not possible. We try to impact the lives of the youth through football.
Yes.
And so we avoid things like crime, drug abuse, and also some of these players come out and become football administrators. So yes, our technical department has got a clear pathway for the players. Since we came in, and that's something that maybe hasn't been highlighted as much, is that when we came in, we had 15 coaches who had been trained in CAF C, and we had around 30 who had been trained in CAF A. That's since independence. 7 years down the line is that we have over 7,000 coaches trained in CAF D. We have now 50 in CAF A, we have another 50 in CAF B, and slightly above 300 in CAF C. We developed to create a pool of coaches who then can handle kids from a very young age so that kids are brought up in the right way. Normally we say in football that if you have 2 kids at the age of 9, and one kid is handled by a good coach and the other kid is handled by a bad coach, by the time they're 16, then they're different players. But also again, if you have 2 kids, same potential at age 9, and one clocks 10,000 hours and the other clocks 2,000 hours at age 16, then you have 2 different players. What we are doing is that we are bridging the gap. We are not yet there, but we have put structures and processes in place to ensure that these kids, especially the ones that are coming through the youth setup, are given a clear pathway to turn pro. But also there is AFCON 2027 that is coming. The average age of the FKFPL is around 28 years. In 2027, then a lot of these players would be in their 30s. So there is a possibility that a player who played here today represents Kenya in AFCON. And that is work that the federation alone cannot make happen. So we require the coaches, we require the players, we require the clubs, and we continue to build.